These images are not images that I pulled out. This particular image of Yeshua, it comes from Egypt, from the church, the Coptic church in Egypt. Coptic churches existed long before Christianity even existed. And this is an image of Yeshua from the Coptic church. On the right, you see Ethiopian Jews. And you see the Ethiopian Jews have been here for a very, 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 very long time. And you see that these men are actually black men. Now, what does this mean? Does it matter? Is this video about race and color? Actually, it isn't. It's not. It's about education. I want you to know something. I want you to learn something today, because you have to understand the foolishness that's been going on this planet for a couple thousand years, even more than that, but at least for a couple thousand years in regards to Yeshua, and what dogma has been placed on all of our generations of children down the pipeline, which is ridiculously altering the way that we live on this planet and how we think, breathe, eat, sleep, and everything else. So Yeshua is a Middle Eastern man, was a Middle Eastern man, and I do mean man.
I always question people, do you really think Mary had a miracle baby? You know, and people be like, man, I don't know. I mean, seriously, I'm like, you got to understand, overstand, Yeshua was a real person. He was a human. He was no different than you and me. And this is what I'm saying. I'm trying to get people to understand it's within us. This is why I talk about emotions, how Satan is already within us. He travels through emotions. You got to understand and overstand this. Stop understanding. You have the power within you.
He was a Middle Eastern man with ties to people that weren't human, and they weren't gods either. They were just advanced beings. What's interesting about Yeshua, he was a virgin birth according to the biblical text. But if you look into some of the older apocryphal texts, you discover that Yeshua's grandmother, Mary's mother, was also a virgin birth. We have evidence of in vitro fertilization in ancient times to create a specific line that this guy comes out.
I tell people, you know, think about it. Yeshua had to go out and seek his gifts, the powers that he had within himself. Think about that. We have it within ourselves just as well. We're no different. We have it in our blood. And this is the God conscious that we need to bring back, Yeshua conscious. Like, we have to tap in, y'all. And we're not at all. We're too distracted with the world. Entertainment, and they know this. Wake up.
And we need to also accept a lot of the things that we did do in the past that were wrong. So a lot of people get real happy when they hear, oh man, yeah, you know, Jesus was black. And to be honest with you, there were a lot of black people in this area. Africa extended far past where it is now. That you can't go by the invisible lines that people put on continents, and it extended all the way up to what we call the Middle Eastern area. But if you look at a lot of these biblical texts and tales, you find that people enslaved people. Hebrews enslaved other. Hebrews had their own slaves. I'm against slavery of any type. I'm against slavery of any race of people. I'm against slavery, period. I'm against, if an animal knew how to enslave another animal, I'm against that. I'm against slavery, period. So when you try to own up to, you know, all this, yeah, it was us. Well, own up to all of it too. Own up to the slavery. Own up to the brutal murderings of women. Own up to the brutal rape of women. Own up to all of it. Own up to all of it. So the thing is to not get excited about what skin color somebody was. The thing is to get excited about learning the truth about the ancient past. Could Thoth and Jesus, aka Yeshua, be the same person? Or could he have learned from Thoth, the Atlantino Tahuti, right? Same person. In my book, Compendium of the Emerald Tablets, I literally break down verses from the Bible and verses from the Emerald Tablets, and I put them side by side. And as you go down, you begin to say,
bullshit. 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 Bullshit.
hey, wait a minute. If this is ancient text, and this is only 2,000 years old, it's not even 2,000. 2,000 years old is a farce, because we know the Bible was written between 100 AD to 900 AD by Phoenicians, followers of Tahuti. So if we know that, then we have to say which comes first, the chicken or the egg. If the compendium of the Emerald Tablets of Thoth were written 36 to 38,000 years ago, and then we have Yeshua, aka Jesus, saying the same thing, right? Thousands and thousands of years later, he either is Tahuti or he learned from him. Of Yeshua. Was he a real person that existed? Yeah, because I've been to the house that he lived in, and I'm gonna show it to you in a minute when he was a kid. This image here is from Egypt. It's from the Coptic Museum. This is from the Coptic Museum. This is a very, very old image of Yeshua, not Jesus, not Hail Zeus, but Yeshua, giving a lesson and talking to people, possibly his disciples on the right, and possibly people that he's speaking to on the left, right, or vice versa, depending on which angle you're looking at this. What's interesting is this man did teach some amazing things, and he learned some amazing things. When he disappeared out of the Bible at the age of 12, he went to Egypt. Okay, that's where he went. He went to Egypt. Yeshua was the name of Jesus. His name was, the person they're trying to attribute that fake name to is actually Yeshua, which means Joshua in English, but Yeshua in the Middle East, right? And that's where I go into my lecture where I'm talking about where did Jesus go when he disappeared from the Bible. In the Bible, he's gone. Age of 12, poof, he's gone. Where did he go? He goes to Egypt. And when I take people on these grand tours of Egypt, I take them to the place where Jesus actually slept, where he lived for some time in Coptic Cairo. The bed that he slept in is a shrine that's still there till this very day, and it's guarded. And so he went to Egypt. Why did he go to Egypt? He went there to learn the Egyptian mysteries. From who? Tahuti. He was a student of Tahuti. right? So now, when we say, could he either be Tahuti or is a student of Tahuti? Well, that's a much deeper conversation. I might be a whole other podcast because this guy was such a wizard and magician. He had come back and incarnated at will over 10,000 lives, right, according to the Emerald Tablets, over the course of 100,000 years. Could he have gotten bored with that and said, you don't want to come through a womb of a woman and come out and see life as a human being and regain all my memory? So it's a possibility. But either way, he disappears out of the Bible at the age of 12. He goes to Egypt. He learns the Egyptian mysteries. Then there's a record of him going throughout Egypt into Nubia, and then even leaving there and going to Tibet. In Tibet, he learned how to heal with his hands. He learned the art of Qigong, Reiki, and all these other healing modalities through moving energy through the body. So he became a healer. Again, something that would be considered to be magic-like. And then from there, and that was confirmed by the Dalai Lama, by the way. Then he moved from there down into India, learning the mystic arts. Again, more quote-unquote magic. And from there, teaching reincarnation all the way back to Egypt. And then from there, the Bible picks back up at the age of 32. He says, God says, I call my son out of Egypt. And then the next thing you know, he appears at the age of 32, riding in on the back of a donkey into Jerusalem. So that's the cycle. So this Jesus that people are worshiping all over the world, this guy was a student of the Egyptian mysteries, of Tibetan mysteries, and Indian mysteries. He learned magic, mystic arts, energy movement, all cymatic frequencies, and then he came back to teach the people. So here in this image you see on the left, you see Caesar Borgia. Caesar Borgia, however you want to pronounce it. And on the right, you see what's been known as a depiction of Jesus Christ, which is now a global image. I'm going to teach you the falsehoods of this image, and I'm going to go kind of deep into it as well. So, false images of Jesus. The Renaissance depiction of Christ as a handsome, thin-faced white man with a thin beard is based on the likeness of Cesare Borgia and the second son of Rodrigo Borgia, aka Pope Alexander VI. Okay, this is where we're getting into the papacy. Now, this is actually right at the era. This is the era of the beginning of the papal inquisitions, by the way. In which the popes ordered the death of over 80 million people over the course of 700 years to get them to believe in their religion and Jesus. Cesare Borgia was born in 1475 and became a cardinal in the Catholic Church at the age of 18. This is the guy that you're praying to. So when you are a Christian person and you believe in the biblical Jesus, and you're calling on the name of Jesus and believing in Jesus and everything else, and you're looking at that image of Jesus in your church and you're dropping onto your knees and crying and weeping all your tears, this is the guy that you're actually praying to and crying to, not the real person at all. Let me tell you how brutal this guy was, okay? Realizing there was no power in a cardinalship, he resigned. He murdered his older brother, Giovanni, in 1497, and Cesare assumed his role as captain of the general of military forces of the papacy. So what he did was he killed his brother because his brother was running the military. He was like, my brother got power. I don't have any power. I'm just a lowly cardinal, guiding the sheep. So he said to himself, I killed my brother, then I can take over his job. And he tried to, there's a lot better ways to try to get the job, but I guess he thought killing him would have been the easiest way. So he was successful in doing that. He killed his brother. It's well documented. Killed his brother. That's what the title of this whole thing is. This guy kills his brother. He quickly launched a military campaign to conquer all of Italy. What does that mean? What would a post-military be doing conquering other countries? They're bringing the gospel. When they tell you they're coming to your country to bring Jesus and the Holy Bible with them, and the gospel, the good news, what they mean is they're coming to kill you and destroy you and then subjugate your offspring and make them speak their language and make them worship their God. That's exactly what it means. He quickly launched a military campaign to conquer all of Italy. During his brutal reign as captain general, he influenced depictions of Jesus to resemble his own likeness. He said, man, this Jesus here, this guy's got a little bit of power over these people. I want his power too. You see, this guy's an energy vampire. He's an energy vampire. He says, I want that power. This military is not enough. I'm killing a lot of people, but you know what? I want more power than this. I want to be in the people's minds. Every time they think about something I want to pray to or think about holy, I want them to be looking at me. So he says, you know what? I'm going to get Leonardo da Vinci to create this for me. So he got Leonardo da Vinci and assigned him to paint the Christ on a model of Caesar Borgia. And that imprint and that first one became the model for all Jesus Christ images moving forward in time. This is how you can time travel. This guy time traveled with one conscious thought. By ordering Leonardo da Vinci to paint his image as an image of Christ and make it known that this from this day forward, I am the Christ. This is the Christ. What he did was he traveled in time into the future. He created a ripple in space-time that traveled into the future. And right now, your mom and your dad, your grandparents, and some of you listening right now, dropping to your knees praying to this evil dude. Don't even know it. The Borgia family is known for incest, intrigue, and murder. He had sex with his sister, Lucrezia. This is his sister, Lucrezia. You may notice her if you play video games. There's a video game, I forget the name of the, Creed. The movie, the video game called Creed, something Creed. You have Caesar Borgia and his sister, Lucrezia, in the video game kissing.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
So they've encoded it into the video games. So the Borgia family is known for incest, intrigue, and murder. And stories have been told of them since they themselves walked the hallways of the apostolic palace. In particular, vicious rumors and slanderous tales have stuck to the names of the two members of the infamous Borgia family, Cesare and Lucrezia, brother and sister of history's most notorious family. So this brings me into the next thing here. Well, if he's not Jesus, then who is Jesus? Let's have a look. Zeus.